What's good, everybody? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson, back with another episode here on the Uganda channel. And Jonita created something called Uganda Connect, where we talk to African businesses and also the Ugandan, Kenyan, and the other diasporas. And today, we have a brother that we did a live stream with. We want to show you that live stream. Brother Bugie Talks, right? He's a Ugandan living in the Massachusetts area, not too far from Boston. And he wanted to talk about his experience on racism, his experience with working with the African American community, and just building the diaspora. He's a very positive brother. I want you guys to go to the first comment, pin to the top, subscribe to his channel, and I hope you guys really enjoy the interview that me and him did. Let's get right into the interview.
First of all, Shay, I just want to appreciate you, bro, the work you're doing. And it's crazy. You just, every time I watch your videos or I check out your channel, you make me miss home. Like, it's crazy, to know that there's an African American who's actually doing some great work in Africa. And being African, like, most people may not see it. Maybe even Africans may not see it, but because I've lived in both worlds, I see the impact and the great work you're actually doing. Maybe you don't know, but you are actually creating something strong, because for a long time, Africans and African Americans have always had this friction, right? Whether it's because of the media, whether it's because of different mindsets, different history, all these biases between ourselves and stereotypes, that I feel like you are bridging that gap, and I'm very thankful for that. And you deserve all the best, bro.
Nah, man, I appreciate you. I'm not perfect. I talk a lot, but good to see you, brother. Let me ask you this, man, because you actually are from Bukoto, right? Where I'm at now.
In Tinder. Well,
Tinder, yeah, next up. So let me ask you this, man. What were some of the thought processes, because you're now in Massachusetts? It's a huge Ugandan community out there too. Like one of the biggest diasporas in the world is the Massachusetts Uganda diaspora, right?
Yes.
That in London. Okay. What, like, when you seen like before you came to Uganda, and since you've been there, what have you understood about both sides of the of maybe like racism, or maybe how blacks have been robbed? What have you understand about it now?
First of all, about racism, the only kind of racism that we have that's in Uganda is probably between Ugandans and Indians. If you look way back from that Idi Amin's time, for the people who watched Last King of Scotland, Idi Amin actually wanted to chased some of the Indians away from Uganda, but they came back after some time. So that has always been an issue. That's like the racism in Uganda, but there's more tribalism in Uganda because of the so many tribes, and there's more, what should I say, more about class. What's the name for that? What's the word for that?
Like classism, caste system.
Classism in terms of how much money you got, and you know what I mean. So it's mainly tribalism and the class, depending on your financial muscles. So that's in Uganda, because I honestly did. I mean, I knew racism exists in the world, especially if you look at South Africa, apartheid, and they all, maybe Zimbabwe, they still have those issues. But in Uganda, it was more about colonialism, which we know there's neo-colonialism even right now in Africa. Still going on with people coming, maybe China bringing the money and then buying out land and doing their thing. But racism, I didn't experience racism until I came to the US. So that's the difference.
Now let's talk about that. Like because why did you end up moving to the United States in the first place?
So my dad has been here for 22 years or something. Obviously, the American dream. So I have lots of family out here. So I was just lucky I got the chance to come to pursue the American dream, just like most people. I guess I can now see where I'm going because it's been years in the making,
Hmm.
So yeah, that's really why I came here. Because you live in Uganda, you know how the uh the unemployment is. Job
Oh yeah.
opportunities are very few. So many students leave college, Makerere University, and there are no jobs in the economy. So
Hmm.
it's really tough. But
Hmm.
and so most people, well, the youth, there's a high number of the youth that always try to get opportunities outside of the country, whether it's
Hmm.
they go to Middle East, whether it's Europe, whether it's South Africa,
Hmm.
in better economies to try and get opportunities to try and take care of the people back home.
When was your so when you experienced racism? Can you talk about it the first time that it happened, or?
Yeah, I can actually. As you know, I have two channels. I have a fitness channel and Boogie Talks where I talk about my experiences. So I made a video about my first experience with racism, but for some reason I got afraid of sharing it. I still have it. But so the first time I used to work at 7-Eleven, right? It was
Hmm.
Sunday. I remember the day very well. It was Sunday, and alcohol sale in Massachusetts on Sunday, I think, stops at 8.
Hmm.
So this drunk lady came into the store and she wanted to buy past 8, and they said no. And you know how 7-Eleven is. I had so many customers lining up buying, whether it's cigarettes or lottery tickets, so
Hmm.
I didn't have the chance to look up the beer and wine section, right?
Hmm.
So, but I couldn't sell beyond the time because sometimes law enforcement can pretend to be buying, and then if you sell them past the time, they can use that to, it can get back to the manager, and they're like, hey, your employee sold alcohol beyond the time. So anyway, she
Hmm.
came in drunk. I had so many people lining up, so it was her turn, and I told her I can't sell beyond the time. And
Hmm.
obviously, with my accent, she started go back to the islands, you nigger. She said all these things. But you know what was very funny? With
Hmm.
all the people in the line, so
Hmm.
I used to work at the 7-Eleven in a very Caucasian, best area, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
with all the customers in line, no one said a thing. With all the insults and offensive
Wow.
words she said, nobody. They waited until she walked away. I was just looking at her because I was like, should I react? I was confused because I was already tired at the time. At the time, I used to work so much, so I would work from uh from 11 a.m. to
Hmm.
6 p.m. Then go to 7-Eleven from 8 p.m. to 7 a.m. So I didn't used to sleep a lot. So I was confused at what I should do in that moment. But what
Hmm.
struck me so hard is the fact that nobody in the
Hmm.
store did
Hmm.
nothing. Nobody said nothing.
Hmm.
So I guess maybe because they used, I don't know, maybe because they wanted to see what I can do. But after some time, I thought about the fact that what if I was the one insulting the lady? Would they still
Hmm.
just watch, or would they call the cops and be like, "There's this black guy who's insulting this lady"? You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So
Hmm.
that was my first time.
Let me ask you this, because obviously, when you hear the African American experience about what African Americans go through in America, a lot of times, at least I've heard, like, African communities say, well, we don't see the same issues that you're having. What do you think about that?
That that's I'm looking for the right word. That's probably as I'm looking for the most offensive word to describe that because that's so stupid. That's very ignorant,
Hmm.
and that's it's no different from a Ugandan who has money actually. When the people down in the trenches and in the hoods talk about how they don't have clean water, they don't have access to food, and then the rich guy says we don't see that. That's being stupid. It's no
Hmm.
different. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So if you live, because in Uganda, I knew racism exists, but we're not always like And by the time I left, social media wasn't. It was beginning to be a thing, but not too much. Not too much.
Mm-hmm.
But uh, racism isn't a thing. Wasn't a thing back then in Uganda. Even now, some people don't. They don't even know there's something going on in Uganda, in America, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for somebody, for now an African who's living in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
saying they don't experience it, just because they don't experience it, it doesn't happen. That
Mm-hmm.
that's got to be the most ignorant and foolish thing somebody can say. Like that's beyond me. I can't have a conversation with you if you can't acknowledge something just because it has never happened to you.
Let me ask you this, because with so many talented, Africans going to the States like yourself, I know there's a huge Ugandan community. I get emails. People, the most emails I get besides African Americans are from Ugandans that are living abroad. I got
Mhm.
one from a lady living in Greece. I get one from, a lot of Ugandans that are in the UK. Um, why are there so many talented Ugandans abroad? Because a lot of African Americans want to know. African Americans are trying to come back to Africa, and a
Mhm.
lot of talented Africans have left and are doing very, very well in the Massachusetts area, in
Mhm.
London, all across. One guy I know, I heard he went to McCary Medical School. He's now practicing in the States and Oregon. And people are saying, well, Africans are leaving, going to Doha. Like even at the airport, you see them in Doha, you see them in Dubai, United Emirates. But African Americans trying to come to Africa. A lot of Africans are trying to leave Africa. And a lot of times people are confused. Like, why is that going on?
So it goes back down to the to the opportunities and the economy of both the two different places,
Mm-hmm.
Africa and the US.
Mm-hmm.
There's no you can't deny the fact that the economy and economic opportunities, there's a clear difference, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But when it gets down to the social issues, there's also a
Mm-hmm.
difference. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so most Africans live because, I mean, we've been told America is the greatest ever since you're a kid. You grow up, America is this, America is that, which is true when it comes to economy and the opportunities. I'm a living example. What I am today, what I am trying to become in the future wouldn't be possible if I didn't come to the US. And the
Mm-hmm.
reason I say that is because my mindset I can't even believe my mindset as well. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
back in Uganda, I always had that entrepreneurship mindset. I wanted to go into farming. I still want to do that in some years to come. But when I came to the US, just you could be a good example, Oshay. Just by you traveling in different societies, something happens to your mindset. The way you see life kind of changes.
Mm-hmm.
The different opportunities you can tap into when you live in different societies, among different people, interacting with different talented people. You pick a piece from each person. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so definitely there are more opportunities in America compared to Africa, at least for most African countries. So that's why
Mm-hmm.
the people leave and
Mm-hmm.
come to America to pursue their dreams. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
now obviously most, when they get here, they get too comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So they get too comfortable and they don't want to go back home, or they don't want to do something great back home. So they just decide to stay here, which is why I said you're doing a good job, because now the ones Africans who are over here and they're looking at you, an African American doing something of being valuable back in Africa, that's inspiration in itself. That can be like, okay, African Americans are going back home, or they're going back to Africa. Maybe I should also go home and do something. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the journey, that's the education, that's the bridge we need to create. And obviously, if we start as Africans, talking good things about Africa and promoting the positives more rather
Mm-hmm.
than the negatives,
Mm-hmm.
that can also be a starting point. But it's more about coming here to find the opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they leave. Now, obviously, African Americans are leaving now because more positive uh, things are being talked about Africa.
Yes, that's true. Very true.
Rather than in back in the day. Because when my dad came here, he told me he met a guy who actually asked if he has ever been chased by lions, and that was a real story.
I believe it.
Real. And
I
that was
still
like
believe it.
maybe 15, 20 years ago. So it's changing. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? That's why I say you're doing a good job. If an African American sees you doing great, he's gonna get his money and come do some investments back in Africa. So it's
Mhm.
taking time, but I feel like we're on the right path.
Mhm. What do you think that is an issue? Because the diaspora is so huge. Like even in America, there's like between African Americans and the African community and Caribbeans, it's like maybe 50 million blacks or 48 million blacks. What do you think is holding the back from more collaboration? More people working together and sharing information to do things. What's holding us back as a global black community that is causing us not to be able to go forward?
I think it goes back to being open-minded and education, and the willingness to learn.
Mhm.
Because O'Shea, if you were not open-minded and willing to learn about Africa, well, you say what's the other place? Europe, where you go. If you're not willing and you
Yeah.
just believe that no matter how bad America is, this is my home, I won't leave. If you're not in that mindset where you're open-minded and willing to learn,
Hmm.
you know what? You're like, let me go to Mombasa, Nairobi, and see what's there. If I don't like it
Hmm.
after 2 days, I can always board back. If you're not
Hmm.
in that,
Hmm.
so it's more about willing to learn. Some people don't want to learn.
Yeah.
I met so many people. They ask me, um, "Where are you from?" I'm from. I'm like, Uganda. They're like, "That's Africa, right?" You should have an idea. It's Africa. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it shouldn't just. Some people in 2020, millennials, the youth think America is the word. That's it.
Hmm.
So black or white. Let's even just focus on black. Some
Hmm.
people still don't know about Africa and they're not willing to learn. So if
Hmm.
we are not willing to learn, that's a big issue. And now that you're in Africa, there's always this story where apparently some colonialist, some guy said, if you want to hide something from Africans, put it in a book.
Hmm.
You see that? So people don't want to learn. People need to take the step, and also living in the bubble. If somebody is just comfortable where they are and they don't think they can go beyond what they think or what they've been sold their entire life, they are always going to be like that.
Hmm.
I just started investing in the stock market
Hmm.
with the people, black people who have been in America for so long, and they still think the stock market is only for the rich.
Hmm.
So if you're not willing to take that step and just, see what's on the other side, we are still going to be struggling to collaborate, you know, uh, and think. I would have thought you're just an African American in Africa trying to maybe steal our land or something. But I was willing to be honest,
Right. Right.
I was willing to be open-minded and learn and
Hmm.
collaborate and see what the work you're doing and be like, okay,
Hmm.
this guy is doing something good and it inspires me as well. So that's we need to learn and be people need to be willing to learn
Hmm. Hmm.
about the things they don't know, and then the bridge will be uh will be covered.
Let me ask you this. So, talk to us about. I know the Ugandan community in Massachusetts, especially around the Boston area, is very, very popular. Why do so many Ugandans come to Massachusetts, that area? Why is it so vibrant with the Ugandan community there?
That's a good question. I think it would be how can I guess back in the day, uh, I think it all goes back to New York.
Hmm.
Usually, most international flights uh, have a drop in in the east before they go in other areas of the US. So I guess when you go back in the day, the first bunch of Ugandans, I guess they came to Boston or to the east, and then it grew from there. And then I guess it's just how immigration works. It's just how settlements work.
Mm-hmm.
You know somebody knows somebody brings somebody's mom, your mom brings you, you bring your friend, and it just, it's a spiral effect. I think that's the best way I can explain it. So you feel more home. You find out, uh, just the way you say it, I would say you felt more comfortable when what's the guy's name that you met who was coming to Uganda too? Is it
Oh, King
Obutunda?
Obatunda.
Yeah. I'm sure in that moment you felt more comfortable going to a place where you know somebody who comes from where you
Mm-hmm.
come. So
Mm-hmm.
now you can also, if you have a friend out here in America, you'll be like, hey, come to Uganda, and then that friend can be like, hey, come to Uganda. So it goes on for years and years.
Mm.
So
Okay.
that's
Okay.
that's the best way I can explain it.
All right. All right. So I guess what I want to know is because we need to do it again. Now that I finally got the internet was back here in this because I wasn't streaming for like I don't know maybe like 4 months or 3 months.
Yeah, the
But
internet.
yeah, but we have Zuku fiber now, so it's seeming to be holding up like 40 megabits per second. So tell people, man, like that for those that you have a channel. I know you have two channels, right? But what are your channels about? I know starting your YouTube journey. What should they expect, from watching your channel?
So Boogie Talks, which is the one I'm using right now, is more about my experiences. The foundation of the channel is more about dating and my
Mm-hmm.
experiences, because obviously I didn't know about red pill until I dealt with these American women, and that's something we have to talk about more. So, but and then yeah, I came across different uh content creators, right? Content creators in the dating world, or as you call it, the manosphere, right?
Yeah.
So, and I've always been the kind of person who wants to inspire and motivate.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, you know what? I have so many things in my head, and I'm sure I'm not the only guy who has been through this, and I don't want other guys to go through, especially when I know in my own I have in my own life, I have a friend and I have a cousin who have been through these issues, dating issues, women issues. As men, it's either your purpose or women or money. Those three
Mm-hmm.
go together, right? So my side when it comes to interacting with women was really letting me down. It was holding me back. So once I learned what to do and what not to do, I kind of got inspired to put my voice out there. So that's what my channel is about, but it's more about motivating. And then I eventually wrote a book about dating, obviously, not
Okay.
too long ago through this coronavirus. Uh, but now I'm venturing more into talking about just social issues,
Mm-hmm.
more focused on dating side and mindset and
Mm-hmm.
motivation. I don't really
Mm-hmm.
go into the race, and I you know it's more about an African's man experience in the US and my life, and what I think somebody could use from me, could learn from me, because there's always somebody looking out to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then my other channel, which is Boogie Fitness and Lifestyle, I'm a trainer. So that one is fully about trainings, full training and fitness.
How long have you been in the states for?
5 years.
5 years. Okay. Did you go to McCurry here or?
Yes, I did. I left with a bachelor's in construction management.
Ah, because he went to main campus, not
Ye-
Moobs, but the main campus. Okay.
Yes.
All right, guys. So you heard what he had to say. He's a very, very, very positive brother. We're definitely going to do some more builds with him. Check him out. Go to his YouTube channel. But let's stop the show right now. If you are in the diaspora, especially the brothers and sisters in our Ugandan diaspora or the Kenyan diaspora, we really want to talk to you, right? Because this is Kinganda, and Uganda is our heart base. So I do want to give preference to those two countries, especially the Ugandan country Uganda, because we're here, right? We want to connect with the Ugandan diaspora, the Kenyan diaspora, and then ultimately all the other diasporas, because we want to just make sure that we show Uganda a lot of love for letting us come here. So if you're definitely in the Ugandan diaspora or in the Kenyan diaspora, we definitely want to build our content around you and even others everywhere else, but specifically the Ugandan diaspora. Send me an email at planetoshay@gmail.com. I have an email with a Ugandan that moved to France. There's a sister that's in the UK I'm dealing with. I'll be doing a show with her. I'll be doing an interview with UK Dukas, which is a very, very powerful shipping company out of the Kenyan area. So we're going to be building the diaspora. If you want to come on and talk on the Kinganda Connect, email us at teamkinganda@gmail.com. We'll be glad to talk to you guys. Till next time, keep it real, Kinganda forever. We out.